Welcome to another episode of Realty at the Closing Table. I'm Mary Williams, Kiana Collier, and Shawnee Baker. And let's get into it, you guys.
Okay. So this week we want to discuss sellers, right? So I've been getting a lot of DMs about people wanting to put their house on the market, but they're scared of not being able to find a new home to move into.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
I feel like as far as preparedness and like as a seller, you need to be getting prepared as a buyer as well. So always like we talked about last time, the 10 Commandments and keeping your affairs in order and your credit and things like that. That applies to sellers as well because again, you will be a buyer. Right now, the inventory is low. So once you do become a buyer, you do get back out there into the market and you are going to see the effects on both sides. So,
and another thing is I've been seeing a lot of sellers becoming renters.
Okay.
A lot of sellers, and that still plays a part though. You still have to have the money. You still have to have the credit because when you do your rental application, they're looking for a certain credit score. They're looking for you to put down a certain amount. You need to put down first month, last month, and that comes back to why are you renting if you have to do the same exact things for
a little bit more sometimes. Like looking at your income on a times rent basis type thing instead of the overall. You need to be making this per month to qualify to even get into this home as a renter. So yeah, most people that rent do not know they qualify to become buyers. So that's another thing. But as far as being a seller, being prepared to sell your home is really key. Decluttering.
It's decluttering, cleaning,
curb appeal,
hiring you an amazing agent that's going to come in and possibly needing to stage your home.
Photography. Professional photography.
Yeah, because when I come in to interview,
I've seen some of those listings.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, your realtor didn't tell you to clean your house?
Wait a minute. No, your realtor took her picture.
I sent you the picture last week when the toilet was disgusting in the listing.
In the listing?
Yeah, we don't want to see
and so get you an amazing agent who's going to come in and not hurt your feelings, but I'm going to say, hey guys, these are the things that we want to do to prepare to get your home in order, right? I want to hire a professional cleaner so when people come in they can see themselves in their home, living in your home. We want to hire a stager that's going to come in and stage your home and remove your pictures because you don't want everybody being able to see your family pictures and your children and things like that. Yeah, we want to make sure we're depersonalizing, we're decluttering, we're making sure that the yard is manicured. And then we also want to make sure, in our conversation, do you have liens on your property? And then we want to touch on where are you going to go after your home sells? Because that is a whole nother conversation. Because if we need to purchase a home, then I feel like we need to purchase the home prior to listing your home. Like I want to at least try to get you under contract because your home is going to sell so fast and I don't want you to be homeless. Sometimes we may have to take a couple months into an apartment or a hotel or Airbnb or something like that, but at least we have a gateway. So Shawnee, can you touch on when sellers are buying a home and what that looks like when they need to use the funds from their closing?
Absolutely.
To purchase.
I have a question. So the follow-up question that I wanted to ask you is, because like, are you able to, because we do have people who are buying a new home while selling, and I've seen where they will make their closing date the same day as the day that they go to closing.
Yes.
So that everything, can you like put that in a contract? And I'll go over what you just asked me.
I don't specifically say the day we're going to close on the new home. Okay. But we do put in a contingency on there that the home that we're selling is contingent to them purchasing their new home.
Okay. And then so just to answer the question that you were asking with regard to buying a new home while you are trying to sell your current home. So what happens is, we were talking about debt to income ratio last week. So we will exclude that your current home from your debt to income ratio and mark that property as pending sale. So we're saying that this is how much home you're able to qualify for if you sell your house. And it usually doesn't hold up the process of anything. We'll ask for them to like get a payoff of their house so that we know what they're selling for versus what it is that they owe, and have us send us like that settlement disclosure, and we send all of that with regard to like the title work when we are ordering the appraisal, and so we put all of that stuff into their fees, so we know that cash to closing is coming from the proceeds of that house.
And it's best to work with the same closing attorney, because if they have liens or something on their first property that they're not aware of, and it comes up the week before closing, then that way they're able to direct that to you, because that's going to change the dynamic of how much money they're putting down if they have to pay those liens off.
Every time.
Okay.
And it could change whether or not they're even going to want to buy that other house that has so many liens on it and things of that nature. So, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so the closing attorney would be looking into the title and all of those things.
Right.
So, and also, I guess with the closing attorneys, the seller can pick the closing attorney. So in this instance, we would probably want to pick the closing attorney if we're going to use the same one.
Well, the buyer has the right.
They do have the right.
Absolutely. To pick their own.
You can put in your listing that you prefer to use this closing attorney, and you can tell that if you have great communication with the buyer's agent when you're doing the selling, and they understand that you are selling, it's contingent upon selling, and that they're already working on title and everything, and you want to be able to close in the same attorney's office, so it's a smooth transaction with both, then you definitely, I encourage you to do that.
And we even do that with like buyers and sellers, wanting them to, like, encouraging them, so to speak, to use the same lender.
Yeah,
because we're able to say, listen, the person buying your home is more than capable. They're more than qualified. Your lender is the person who qualified them, so you know that they've had an opportunity to take a look at their documents and things like that.
And it's also a good idea too. So if I have a listing that's for sale and I invite my preferred lender, you're fine. Invite my preferred lender out to my open house to host the open house with me. That way she can do on-site approvals. If you're looking to get into this property, then we can be able to merge and combine and work that way.
Yes, absolutely.
And that way they get to meet you. So they get to meet the lender in person, fill them out, yes, and apply and be able to go ahead and get that pre-approval, and then also fill out that contract while you're on site.
You're here. Exactly.
Done deal. Just sign up and get the house.
Yep. So going back to selling, what's more things that we need to probably touch on as far as, I guess, preparedness? We know that you need to be prepared to sell, preparing your home, preparing your finances.
The market is changing. Be prepared to possibly contribute towards closing costs.
Yes.
Because the past 2-3 years, ever since COVID, we've seen that dynamic of where sellers aren't contributing towards closing costs, but that's actually shifting.
Yep, it's shifting.
I've been seeing some sellers contributing towards closing costs, or at least contributing towards repairs, when a lot of people the past year have been selling as is, and now people are requesting repairs for their home.
And I was going to ask you that, because I know you guys you work with buyers and sellers.
Yes.
So the majority of your sellers, are you finding that they are having a little difficulty coming to terms with the fact that, they may have to give some closing help this go
they missed out?
Yeah, I keep telling y'all, yesterday's price is not today's price.
That they missed out because last year everyone was selling as is. We were doing appraisal gaps. We were doing, $50,000 over list price.
Temporary occupancy.
Oh my God. They were just flying off the market, and now it's staying on the market longer. And they're noticing that, people are asking for closing costs and you should contribute. But not as a agent standpoint.
Okay.
When I purchased my home, I received closing costs. And I think it's kind of like a gift. You're purchasing your home, especially with first-time home buyers.
Agreed.
I think it's something that is, what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
nice to do, so
like I'm going blank. But and everybody was so, the market had just shifted so much, and people became so greedy.
I was going to say, they being greedy.
They became so greedy.
Yep, greedy.
So I do like that the market is shifting again, because it's so hard for home buyers. A lot of times for first time home buyers, because they don't have all the funds, they don't have all these things, and to make it a little bit easier for families to be able to buy their first home. Yeah. So the inventory is low right now, though. So getting sellers, what are you doing to encourage sellers who are scared to move forward with listing their home?
Just letting them know, there's no time. If you're financially ready right now, then you should definitely put your home on the market so that you can get into the market as well. Because as well as the interest rates are going up for the buyers, when you're looking to sell, you are going to have to buy. So your interest rate is also going to be affected. So I wouldn't sit on my home. I would still sell it now. Because also, prices of the homes are going down.
Yes.
So the average sales price is slowly decreasing. It's not going, it's like falling down. And then your home's staying on the market longer. Like, it's a shift. So as it's shifting, you don't want to be at the bottom of the shift. Just like right now, buyers don't really want to be at the height of the interest rates. Well, you don't want to be at the bottom when the market is starting to cool and now you're not getting what you feel like your home is worth. Because of course,
this is the thing though. Interest rates are not extremely high.
They're not.
They're not. They're not
higher than what they were.
They're not ridiculously low as what we seen during the pandemic.
But I know people who purchased homes in 2016 or even 2017, and they have a 7% interest rate. So they missed out on
2018.
Exactly.
5.25. I purchased my first home 2018. My interest rate was a 5.25. I was able to refinance during the pandemic and get it down to a 3%. Okay. But back in 2018, that's where interest rates were, and that's just where they are now. So what I'm encouraging my sellers and my buyers is to understand that these interest rates are still good interest rates, and these interest rates are what it was prior to the pandemic, and they're not going to go back down unless, God forbid, we have another pandemic, right? They're not leveling out. Chicken costs $25,
bruh.
It is not going nowhere, okay?
Listen,
inflation.
Gas is $30 a gallon, so interest rates are only going to go up so low.
Do you hear me? So how I'm trying to get my sellers to understand is that, and my buyers, sellers will know, like, well, the interest rate, my interest rate is this on my home when I bought it, and I really want to sell, but then I'm kind of nervous about buying. Go ahead and buy. Do not wait, because this is the thing, and I get a lot of first time. I don't want to switch over because I know our segment is definitely about sellers getting into, but for buyers, they get nervous about the interest rate and they say, oh, well, I can only afford this amount, right? I really want this $400,000 house, but I can only afford $250,000. That's okay, because listen, you're building that equity, right? Absolutely. So if you take that and you go into, you don't want to move here because it's not your dream home. But is the apartment complex your dream home? Or is the home that you're renting from the homeowner your dream home? It's not. So when that 12-month lease is up and you move, you're moving away with nothing, right? Yep, but if you move into this home that wasn't your dream home, but you can still make it your own, and you stay there for 2 to 5 years, and then you move, now guess what? I have enough money that I've built in equity that where when I sell my home, I can be able to pull that equity out. I'll see a return, and now I can buy my $450,000 house and have the down payment for it.
And it may be in a different market.
Definitely
going to be a different market.
So,
I mean, I don't have the date, but February-ish around 2023. Like, put a date on it. Yeah, definitely going to shift. And just like you were saying, Mary, you do not want to be on the downside as things are shifting and things are changing. I probably say it on just about every show that we do. The cost of waiting is way too expensive for you to continue to wait. And I mean, that's a life principle, but definitely applying
that applies to our sellers. Do not wait, because what the market is doing, even though the market is shifting, you're still winning. Because it's shifting, but it has yet to turn into a buyer's market. Yep. So as a seller, you still can get away with getting a little something. We're still going over asking price. Yes. It's not as much. I'm not seeing 50, 60,000, in cash over the list price, but we still are seeing 10 to 15,000 over list price. And then sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're seeing the homes drop down, right? The listing price decrease over a few days, but it's still a good time to sell, and inventory is low, so you're going to sell your house.
Yeah, and then like you said, once the housing inventory goes back up, then your house is now sitting on the market. Because I didn't really like that house. I would have gotten it because that's all that was available.
I would have been willing to do the repairs.
Yep, but now I'm not.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed. Or you're going to have to come out of pocket. You're going to have to do repairs and stuff. And that's another thing. I understand that everybody doesn't want to come out and pay so much. Like, for me, I'm like, well, that bathroom sink didn't work all this time I live here, so why am I gonna fix it?
Right.
For you.
Right. But that's like
But
something.
you have to.
Yeah, maybe. But it's like some things like, is it a huge repair? Is this cosmetic? Or is this something like
Correct.
huge?
And I'm saying,
And then-
with regards to like the programs that realtors offer, like, are there any fix your home up, like equity before you sell?
Oh, yeah,
type
we
of
have
programs?
those.
So
Yes. We do have programs out there that will do repairs prior to closing.
which is great for sellers, right?
Correct.
Because they don't come out of pocket with anything, and they pay those repairs back like out of their proceeds from the
Exactly.
sale of their
From
home.
the sale.
So it's really no excuse.
So it's like to repair, not to repair. And then also, you don't want to be like super finicky as to what you're going to assist your buyer in. Like, yeah, slight minor cosmetic things, that's one thing. But if it's something huge that just because you've been living with it, like, try to come to a means. Like, that's why we do the negotiating. Because, like, okay, yeah, the garage door fell down or something, you know what I'm saying? But like, just try to be reasonable, because like I said, at one point you're going to be that buyer.
Yep.
So you don't want to go out there like, I'm selling my house, you know, and then like you're going to be on the other side at some point.
Yep.
So you don't want to be unreasonable, because you don't want anybody to be unreasonable with you, because you're going to find something and you're going to want them to give you some money for it, or you're going to want them to come down. You're going to want something. So just keep that in mind as a seller too.
Agreed. Yep. But inventory is low in Georgia, so you guys, if you are thinking about listing, you're thinking about selling your house, you definitely want to call me so I can list your house.
That's right. So Shanae, how do you feel about like sellers? Like when sellers come to you, and what do they need to have together as far as getting preparedness?
To purchase their new home?
Yes, I guess that would
So
be
we
the
definitely
same
want to
thing.
make sure that their mortgage payments have been made on time.
Okay.
Super important to make sure that you do not have any late mortgage payments in the most recent 12 months. If your mortgage is actively in forbearance, you want to have that out of forbearance. You want to have made about 3 payments on that moving forward, but you kind of want to do the same thing as buyers are doing, because you will, at that point, you're switching from being the seller to the buyer. So you want to make sure that your credit is in great standing. You want to make sure that you are also paying just the everyday bills that you do have. Before you go and sell your house, don't buy your new car yet. You know what I mean? Like, get your car and then start the process. But so the process is really the same. Keeping their credit in order. If you're using proceeds from the sale of your home, of course, that's where their cash to closing is coming from. But still, credit, low debt, same things.
Okay, thanks guys for joining us for another episode for Realty at the Closing Table. Sellers, just to recap, it is still a seller's market. So if you're thinking about selling, make sure you get with your agent. Make sure you guys are decluttering. Make sure you're cleaning, you're painting, and you're getting ready to hit the market. Also, be gracious. Think about the repairs and stuff that you want to do for your buyers. Maybe giving a concession for repairs or giving a concession for closing costs, just to help them out a little bit. Because like I said, the market is changing. So that's huge. Make sure you guys are getting with your lender if you are preparing to purchase a new home, right? If you're going to sell and buy a new home, you want to make sure that you're getting with your lender to prepare for that as well. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, DM us any of your questions, your comments. We love feedback. We are Realty at the Closing Table on IG and Realty at the Closing Table on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Like I say, email us, DM us, anything, and we will see you guys next week.